Hello everyone. This story is called The Little Fir Tree, and it was first written a long time ago by Hans Christian Andersen.
Is it about a fir tree? It must be in a wood then. So, am I in this story too? I bet I am. I'll make a great wolf in a wood.
I'm afraid you're not in this story, Mr Wolf. So, why don't you just sit yourself down over there, make yourself comfy with a cookie, and listen to the story.
Oh, all right then. Those cookies look nice. I'll go and check them out.
Once, many years ago, there was a forest. Many birds and animals lived there, and lots of different kinds of trees. The animals were safe playing and living within the shelter of the trees, and the birds nested every spring in the branches of the tall trees and sang to their heart's content. Many of the trees were very tall, with sweeping branches and their leaves stretching up to the sky and overlooking the world. Often, children would come and play in the forest and eat their picnics under the shelter of the trees. They particularly loved to visit one little fir tree who lived right in the centre of the forest. It was a beautiful little tree, but all the other trees towered over the top of it and made it feel quite small and unimportant. The little tree would often sigh that it wished it was taller and could stretch its branches up high into the sky like the other trees. When the autumn came, many of the other trees were chosen by people to be chopped down and taken away. Many of the tall trees had their branches cut off, and their trunks were so long and elegant that the little fir tree thought they looked amazing and wondered where they could possibly be going. The little fir tree could only imagine what excitement was waiting for them in their new adventures, and it wished it could go on an adventure too. "I wish I could go out and see the world," the fir tree would moan. "I'd love to explore and see the sights away from this old wood." The young fir tree wished so much to know that in the spring it asked the birds who flew in from many parts of the world. One of the birds said that the tall pine trunks were the masts for sails which went out into the great oceans of the world. The young fir tree wished very much to go and explore the world, but the little birds in its branches said it should enjoy the sunshine and the spring air. The next autumn, many of the smaller trees were cut down around the little fir tree. "Where are they all going?" the little fir tree wondered, and it asked the sparrows and the rabbits. They told the tree of firelight and candles and singing round the piano at Christmas. They said how beautiful the trees looked, all covered in glitter and sparkle, with toys hanging from every branch. "How I wish I could be gloriously decorated like that," said the little fir tree. But the little birds told it to enjoy being home to the animals and birds who needed somewhere to rest in the cold weather. The little fir tree shrugged its branches and wished again for exciting adventures and sparkling lights. And then one day, just before Christmas, the woodcutter came, brought his axe and cut down the discontented little fir tree. 2 servants came and collected the beautiful little tree and carried it into a house. On the walls were gold-framed pictures. Holly and ivy decorated the enormous vases. A staircase swept up from the hallway, and the little tree was planted right in the centre of the room. Children came laughing into the hall, and the tree sighed with happiness. This was the adventure he'd been looking forward to. All that day, the tree was the centre of attention. Lights, gifts, bows and glitter were lavished on it, and the tree could hardly see what was going on in the room by the time the evening came. It was so covered in decorations. "We can't wait till this evening," cried the children. "We can put all the lights on the tree and it will sparkle so beautifully." "I can hardly wait till this evening," thought the little tree. "I will shine my brightest and give these children the most wonderful memories." That evening, the children gathered around the tree, and the family told stories and sang songs and shared presents. The little tree trembled with delight at all it saw. The next day, it looked forward to the same things happening again. But the morning came, and the children ran past the little tree and out into the garden to play. No one so much as looked at the little tree all day, and the paper decorations drooped a little on its branches, and the tree sighed sadly to itself and thought longingly of living in the forest with the animals and birds. The next day, the decorations were taken off, and it was carried outside into the furthest corner of the garden. As it lay there, the wind blew through the old branches, which were now dry and a little yellow-looking. The little fir tree looked up at the sky and saw the birds flying around, and it was easy to remember the forest from when the little tree was young. That evening, as the sun dropped low in the sky and the snow fell gently over the tree, the rabbits and the mice popped out of their winter holes to see what had arrived in their corner of their wood. "Hello," they all said, and then they gasped as they noticed the sparkly star that was still stuck on the top of the little tree. They knew it must have been a very special kind of tree, and so they crept a little closer. The tree welcomed the creatures into its branches and gave them warmth from the chilly air. And as they talked, the old tree found that it had tales to tell the little animals. It told them of the forest and the animals it had known when it was young, of the tall trees who had sailed off around the world on their own adventures, and of its own wonderful evening full of light and dancing and stories. The animals sat in its branches, mesmerised by the tales of discovery, and the little fir tree realised that it really had found an amazing adventure of its very own.
I liked that story. No wolves or cookies, but it was still a good story.
I'm very glad you enjoyed it, Mr. Wolf. I hope you have a lovely Christmas.
I hope you do too.
And we hope you all have a lovely Christmas too. Goodbye.